Thunder crashes, lightning flashes, and a great wind sweeps across the mountains of the Pacific Northwest, awakening something ancient from its slumber. This is the Sky Serpent of the storm front, a massive, fearsome thunderbird. In this form, the thunderbird is known as the Great Arrow, a harbinger of storms and a symbol of power and freedom. I invite you to join me in my canoe and paddle with me across the dark waters of this vast lake. As we search for signs of the great bird, through mists that cling to the mountain peaks, we paddled towards a wall of towering thunderheads, where flashes of lightning illuminate the roiling clouds. There we see it. Emerging from the heart of the storm, the great thunderbird spreads its enormous wings, each beat sending shivers through the air and the water. Its feathers are dark as night, ruffled by the wind into a frenzy of motion, giving the illusion of endless wings stretching out across the sky. And the creature's piercing cry echoes across the mountains, shaking the very foundations of the earth. We watch in awe as the thunderbird banks, turning towards us, and its glowing eyes seem to pierce the darkness. Fixated on our little boat, like a hawk eyeing a field mouse, it seems as though the very essence of the storm has taken flight. With a final beat of its wings, the thunderbird disappears into the heart of the tempest, leaving us in its wake, stunned and humbled by the sheer power and majesty of the beast. But we are not alone. From the safety of our sheltered cove, two hikers emerge, their faces turned up to the sky in wonder and disbelief. They had been making their way along a forest trail when the storm hit, forcing them to seek shelter in the caves that riddle the mountainside. As they watched the thunderbird pass overhead, its wings spread wide, they knew they had witnessed something truly extraordinary. Their hiking poles forgotten, they stood mesmerized, their breaths catching in their throats as the sound of the thunderbird's cry echoed through the mountains. When the sound finally faded away, they looked at each other, their eyes wide with shared amazement, knowing that what they had just witnessed would stay with them for the rest of their lives. Inside the cave, the rock walls are adorned with ancient petroglyphs, symbols left behind by indigenous tribes who revered the thunderbird as a powerful deity. Now the paintings seem to come to life as the spirit of the thunderbird soars overhead. The hikers, overcome with emotion, and help, but feel a sense of connection to those ancient people and their deep reverence for the natural world. They too are filled with a sense of awe and wonder, realizing that they are just visitors in this sacred space and that the true owners of this land are the spirits of the mountains and the creatures that inhabit them. The storm rages on, shaking the very foundations of the mountains as the thunderbird prepares for its descent. The hikers, drawn by an invisible force, find themselves moving towards the mouth of the cave. There, they stand together as the thunderbird returns, its great wings beating the air, its eyes fixed on the ground below. The wind grows stronger, whipping their hair and clothing around them as the thunderbird swoops low, its talons extended, ready to strike. But instead of attacking, the thunderbird pauses, its head cocked to one side as if sensing their presence. A crack of lightning illuminates its face, revealing a wisdom and intelligence that startles the hikers. For a moment, time stands still as the hikers and the thunderbird lock eyes, connected by an invisible bond. Then with the final beat of its wings, the thunderbird rises, disappearing into the heart of the storm, leaving the hikers breathless, wondering if what they have just witnessed is a dream or reality. The wind begins to die down, the rain softens to a drizzle, and the clouds part, revealing a sky filled with the promise of a new day. The hikers, shaken by their encounter with the thunderbird, turn back towards their hike, knowing that their journey will never be the same again. As they walk, they can't help but glance up at the sky, searching for a glimpse of the great bird, hoping to catch another glimpse of its magnificent wings or hear the echo of its powerful cry. But the thunderbird is gone, hidden once more in the mists and legends of the mountains. Now, let us follow the winding river as it carves its way through the ancient forest. Sunlight filters through the canopy, painting dappled patterns on the forest floor. The river's gentle flow provides a soothing soundtrack as we glide past muscovere trees and fallen logs. The air is alive with the scent of pine and cedar, and the sound of birdsong fills the air. As we round a bend, we spot an old-growth forest, its towering trees reaching towards the sky like ancient giants. We navigate through a maze of fallen branches and logs, the water growing deeper and the current stronger. Suddenly, the forest opens up, revealing a breathtaking vista of mountains and valleys. Sunlight streams through a break in the clouds, casting a golden glow on the landscape. The river widens, and we find ourselves in a tranquil lake surrounded by dense forests and rugged mountains. A group of hikers stands mesmerized by the sight of the thunderbird, its wings spread wide against the backdrop of the setting sun. The bird's piercing cry echoes across the mountains, and the hikers feel a sense of awe and wonder at the sight before them. One of the hikers reaches for their camera, eager to capture the moment, but they know that no photograph could do justice to the majestic creature. As the thunderbird takes flight, the hikers stand in silence, watching as it disappears into the twilight sky. They share a knowing look, understanding that they have just witnessed something truly special. As dusk settles over the mountain, the temperature drops and the wind picks up, carrying with it the smell of rain and the promise of a storm. The hikers, feeling the change in the atmosphere, begin to make their way back to their cars. As they walk, they can't help but glance up at the sky, searching for a glimpse of the Thunderbird, hoping to catch another glimpse of its magnificent wings or hear the echo of its powerful cry. But the Thunderbird is gone, hidden once more in the mists and legends of the mountains. Deep in the forest, the wind howls through the trees, whipping the branches into a frenzy. Rain lashes against the trees, drumming a wild rhythm on the forest floor. Lightning flashes, momentarily illuminating the gnarled branches and the faces of the ancient trees. The hikers, seeking shelter, hurry along the path, their footsteps echoing in the stillness between the claps of thunder. Suddenly, the forest falls silent. The rain stops, the wind dies down, and an eerie calm settles over the mountains. The hikers, caught in the sudden stillness, stop and listen, their hearts pounding in their chests. From deep within the mountains, a low growl rumbles, growing louder with every passing moment. The growl turns into a roar, shaking the very foundations of the forest. The hikers, frightened and confused, look around, trying to identify the source of the noise. And then, they see it. Emerging from the heart of the storm, the great Thunderbird takes flight. Its wings, vast and powerful, beat the air, sending shivers down the spines of the hikers. Its eyes, glowing like embers, seem to pierce the darkness, fixing on the hikers with an intensity that makes their blood run cold. The Thunderbird swoops low, its talons extended, and the hikers instinctively cower, bracing for the impact. But the Thunderbird doesn't attack. Instead, it rises, disappearing into the darkness, leaving the hikers trembling in its wake. The sky is filled with swirling clouds and flashes of lightning, illuminate the churning waters below. The wind screams across the mountains, carrying with it the sound of thunder and the scent of rain. And then, rising above the tumult, we hear it, the cry of the Thunderbird, echoing across the storm, a sound that stirs the very soul and awakens the spirits of the mountains. And with that final stirring note, our adventure comes to an end. If you enjoyed this tale, please remember to support us. Your support helps us to continue sharing these stories and bringing them to life with amazing artwork. Also, don't forget to join our community. Thanks for joining me on this journey. May the spirit of the Thunderbird guide and protect you always.